Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. Today I'm going to talk about the Trump administration and what they've been accomplishing, what they've been doing, for those of you who don't keep up with all of that stuff, and what can we expect going forward, right? The first thing I'd like to say about it is that the border interactions have just dropped off a cliff. The number of people that ICE and Border Patrol are interacting with at the border, people trying to cross over, it's just dried up. People stopped trying to come here illegally, basically. Not 100%, but like 98%, right? It's just the flood of immigration is just dried up, which that in itself is a great thing for America. But I mean, we still have this problem of the tens of millions who came over the last 4 years, right? And they're getting rid of them. I just looked it up, and ICE has deported in the neighborhood of about 40,000 people so far since Trump took over, and that's good. That's good. I'm glad to see that. But as you know, I was hoping for a lot bigger numbers than that. I was hoping in, millions. Maybe I was just being, my ignorance was showing through or whatever, but I was just hoping that they would be deporting millions every month, not, tens of thousands, because we had tens of millions come over, and for them to, in 48 months of him being in office, it'll take 1 million every month to get, 48 million out of here. So, it's got to be close to that number, hundreds of thousands every month to 1 million, something like that, to get the ones that came over in the last 4 years. That's not counting the ones who come over in the last 10, 20 years. So, yeah, and it's just in my line of work. I've done construction a lot in my life, and you can't hardly get a job on a construction site now, and because it's just all illegal immigrants and they're paying shit wages. You can't walk onto a construction site and expect to earn a living wage now. Not in my area. And, just get paid what you're worth. I mean, a competent craftsman, not just some yahoo that just, took a couple courses in college and got out of high school and took a couple courses in college and walked out. No, I'm talking about, a tradesman with tools and all that shit. You can't hardly earn a living now because these illegals will just, they'll work for $10 an hour. So it's difficult, but I just wanted to see a lot more of the deportation, and I'll get off of that pulpit, quit banging that drum for now. But then we've got the Attorney General. Her name is Pam Bondi. She seems like the real deal, and that's what I like about Trump and what he's doing this time. And what I really saw this coming is that the first time he got elected, he picked his cabinet members out of the people that were in the system already, right? And then they were all turncoats, and they undermined him and all that shit. His own cabinet turned against him and were fighting against him. His own vice president turned on him. So this time, I was expecting him to pick people from outside the system, you know what I mean? And just put them in there. They can't do any worse. Not for America. When you have people in the system who are purposely trying to destroy our country, you can't do any worse than somebody who at least wants to help, but just doesn't know the ins and outs of the system, right? Some real patriots who want to do good for your country, but just, don't have the experience, than an experienced person who is trying to rip your country apart. So I'm glad to see him pull people from outside. to be in his cabinet. And Pam Bondi's one of them. She's already calling for the Epstein files. As soon as Kash Patel, which, if you don't know who he is, he's the director of the FBI that Trump just appointed, and he got confirmed by the Senate or whatever. And as soon as Kash Patel got confirmed, she called on him to tell the FBI office in New York to release all the information they had on Epstein. So all this shit is coming out, and she's already brought a bunch of people up on charges who were trying to convict Trump and cheating on elections and all this shit. She's already bringing them up on charges. She's a pit bull. She's going after their asses, which I'm very happy to see it. I'd like to love to see some convictions. They're treasonous traitors. They're traitors to the United States of America, undermining our election, our democratic elections, cheating, using the justice system as a weapon, all this kind of shit, locking people up who are innocent and letting the guilty go free, aiding and abetting all of this massive wave of immigration, illegal immigration into our country, stealing the taxpayer money to house and feed these illegal immigrants. It's sickening, and I'd like to see some of these people pay with their time, put them in prison for a few years. That we need deterrence, because then, the next administration, even if somehow we do get some more slime bags in there after Trump, at least they know that the American people might elect someone like Trump again, and there might be justice one day. As it is, there's just been no justice for decades. Just no consequences, nothing to fear. Just rob the American people and put the money where they want. No fear of any reprisals, no justice, nothing. Just absolutely fearless. And Doge has uncovered, I don't know how many, I forget the number now, but just massive amounts of this rental money where the government is taking our tax money and just renting unoccupied vacant buildings. Yeah, they're just sitting there vacant, but the government's been paying rent. If that's not a payoff or a bribe, you know what I mean? Oh, I've got a building over there. Just rent that building from me and we'll call it even. You know what I mean? To a politician or a government official or whatever, just rent that building. So they work out a deal like that. And the government, they're probably paying 3, 4, 10, 15 times what it's worth every month, just to line somebody's pocket to get them to do something or to keep them from doing or saying something. So that's the kind of shit that's been going on for decades. So I'm glad to see Doge in there ripping that shit out and exposing it. That's just wonderful in my opinion. I'm so happy to see that shit. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and he's the only one that's been kind of quiet. I haven't heard a lot from RFK Jr., but it's at least possible for him to have the most impact, right? He can have a lot of impact going forward. He can set the stage for a lot of change in our medical and pharmaceutical industries and how they operate and our laws, because we've got a lot of laws against the people here in the United States. Most of our laws are directed at the people to keep us from buying different medications, from seeking certain treatments and stuff. We're not allowed to by law. Now, I want to see these laws redirected at these big corporations. They're not allowed to, to put such and such in our food. They're not allowed to do this or that. They're not allowed to do things. Why? But not all 100%, but most of American laws in the United States are aimed at the people. We need these laws redirected out at these huge corporations. And that will go a long way toward fixing the United States. And hopefully RFK can do some of that as far as, you know, the food and pharmaceutical industry and that kind of stuff is concerned. Because that really, every time I think about it, and it really blew my mind when I first realized it, that it's illegal to try to treat cancer with any other method rather than the chemotherapy and the radiation in America. That really blew my mind. People have to go to Mexico to try to get treatment that isn't that, you know, that isn't the accepted method. They've got to go to Mexico and shit to try to get these different kinds of treatments. So to call ourselves a free country and to suggest that we are free when we've got to leave our country to do things for ourselves, to try to save our own lives, we have to leave our country to get alternative treatments or whatever. So we're fooling ourselves. I mean, it's time to admit it. We're fooling ourselves. We're not as free as we would like to believe. We live in an illusion of freedom, but hopefully people like RFK Jr. can help us get our freedom back. And Kash Patel, he's going to be a wrecking ball. He's in there. He's the director of the FBI. And he, again, from the outside, Trump's getting all these people from the outside. And the director of the FBI, he's got a lot of power over the FBI and stuff, so he can just command them to do shit. And if they disobey that command, I think they might even be able to go to prison, right, for disobeying that order. I don't know if the FBI is like the military in that. At the very least, he can just fire them. He can fire anybody he wants. And so he is going after the Epstein stuff and all of this other crap that's been hidden and, done behind closed doors and in the shadows. All this stuff, he plans on going in there and uncovering it. And one big thing that makes me think that he's legit is that he chose Dan Bongino as his director of the FBI, or his deputy director of the FBI, rather. And Dan Bongino, he's just a straight up patriot, constitutionalist beast. I've been watching his show for years. Now he's not going to have a show anymore because he's going to be deputy director of the FBI, which I'm sad to see happen because I really enjoy watching his show. But that's awesome for our country. And that's proof that Kash Patel, in my eyes, that Kash Patel is the real deal. He's legit. So all this stuff he's been saying is legit. You know what I'm saying? Is true. I think he's actually going after this stuff. He's going to do his best, at least, to uncover all of these hidden things like the Epstein and all that stuff. And that's the one thing I heard recently, that Epstein, he might be alive, which, I don't know. I don't know if he's dead. I wasn't there. I don't know. I heard on the idiot box that he deleted himself. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But the weird thing to me is that he had this thing, whatever he had going on that island, right? This illegal activity going on that island. And all these people supposedly went to this island to engage in this illegal activity, and not one of them have been arrested. Not one. Not a single person who went to his island to do the things that he got arrested for, right? None of them have been arrested. Not one single person. No one has been brought up on charges. No one has been, as far as I know, investigated and questioned. Nothing. Nothing. So if that's not some kind of conspiracy cover-up thing, I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. And I'm being serious. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life, where someone is arrested for, and all of their accomplices, all of the people that that's the first thing you do is you start giving up names and you get a shorter sentence. We all know that. We all watch movies and shit, right? You start giving up names. So we're led to believe that instead of giving up any names, and there were no names on the island in his computers or in a Rolodex or something, like none of that existed, right? There was just no evidence that anybody went there. That's what we're supposed to believe. Well, Kash Patel doesn't believe that, and he's going to go after him, and along with Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. And Tulsi Gabbard is the Director of National Intelligence, which is CIA and all that shit, right? And she's another one like RFK Jr. who's been quiet. She hasn't made the news a lot. So, but from what I've seen of her, I mean, she's ex-military. She's a patriot. Now, ex-military. I think she's still in the reserve, so she still goes out once a month or whatever, and trains with them and stuff or whatever. But from what I understand, but I just don't see her pulling any punches from what I've seen of her, on when I've watched her on Joe Rogan and these other shows, but I've seen her a lot, not just on Joe Rogan. I've watched her make, posting videos and stuff, and she's written a couple books. But whatever those people are in there in the national intelligence and whatever kind of shady shit they're doing, I'm sure that Tulsi Gabbard's going to root them out and drag them into the light too. She ain't no joke. She don't play around. Yeah, she's a veteran and a patriot, and I believe she is, because I've never seen anything otherwise, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I believe she's gonna do some damage in there too. Go through there and start tossing them worthless some bitches out the window. Yeah, pack their shit. Get the hell out of here and expose a lot of shit that needs to be exposed. And Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, I don't know what all he can do. I mean, they're just rooting out all that trans shit in the military and all that stuff, all that kooky weird shit that they were trying to inject in the military. They're getting rid of all that, of course. But as the Secretary of Defense, I'm not sure exactly what kind of authority Pete Hegseth will have anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he'll have some influence and inject some common sense into their group meetings or whatever, but he's only in charge of the military. And he's just, by law, he's got to do whatever Trump tells him to do. I mean, I think all of them do, but especially the military, because Trump's commander-in-chief. So, I mean, they'll straighten out the military, which is great. For the military guys and girls, the servicemen and women who are serving right now, that's going to be great for them. They'll probably get a pay raise, well deserved, and their lives will get a lot better. But Pete Hegseth isn't going to, be exposing a bunch of stuff like these others, doing investigations and stuff. He's just going to be, he's just going to be remodeling and fixing up the broken, weird-ass military that they left us from the last administration. But I think all of them are set in place to do a good job for the American people. And these choices, I believe, are very, very important, because Trump learned from the last time that he made bad choices, right? It almost benefited him by losing that last election, so he didn't go into the next 4 years with the same cabinet. You know what I mean? Just continue on and have the same cabinet the entire time, because they would have been undermining him the entire time. So now, by losing in 2019, 2020, he was forced to pick a new cabinet when he got elected in 2024. So I think that will play out to the benefit of him and to the benefit of the American people and to the world, honestly, because a strong America is beneficial to the world, just like any other. We want every country to be strong. We want a strong South Africa. We want a strong Germany. We want a strong Norway. We want all of our countries in Western civilization to be strong and just brimming with freedom and prosperity. That's what I hope for every country on earth, but especially the ones in Western civilization. So, yeah, but him picking these outsiders and getting them to go in and root shit out, I mean, that's their main job as far as I'm concerned. Because that's just like any other thing, like when you go in to look at a house to see if it needs fixed up or something, if you live in that house and you see the same things every day, then you, even if you're well-meaning, you're liable to miss stuff just because you're used to it. You see it every day. But if you bring someone from the outside and say, hey, inspect my house, tell me what I need to fix, they aren't going to miss those things, those same things that you would. They're going to, oh, what is that? Something will catch their eye that doesn't catch your eye anymore because it's just been in your peripheral vision for, the last 10 years. You don't even notice it anymore. It doesn't exist, but it'll catch a newcomer's eye. That's why we need outsiders to come in and start rooting around and finding this shit, exposing this shit, chopping it off, getting rid of it, getting rid of the waste, the corruption, the fraud. Get rid of these people and start waking more people up to quit re-electing these just traitorous fools and implement some damn term limits. Holy shit. How these people can go up there for 50, 60, 70 years and just live off the government tit, off the taxpayer dollar, and do absolutely nothing but steal from. We are paying them with our own lives, our blood, sweat, and tears to steal from us. We are paying their salary to steal from us, lie to us. It's so insane and frustrating. But we need term limits. If nothing else comes out of this 4 years, I would hope that be the number one thing that they accomplish. The one thing that they absolutely get done is term limits. Get rid of these lifelong politicians. Get rid of them. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate those of you who do that. Thank you very much. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can head over to Redbubble and check out what we have over there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, hoodies, all kinds of cool stuff. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded. I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.